This here is my new Masport mower. Alright, well, this, like I said, is the new Masport mower. Well, it's not new. I've had it for a good 6 months, and I've been obviously testing it out here on a nice TifTuf lawn that I planted back in March of last year. So I thought, now that I've had it for 6 months, where I'm wanting it to get to from a lawn perspective, how it's going, any issues, and my thoughts on it, let's jump in and I'll bring you in a bit closer. Alright, well, if you're not familiar with cylinder mowers, these things have multiple blades that spin around really fast and cut the grass nice and clean compared to a good old regular mower that everyone's used to that spins around and basically rips up the grass. Now, like I said, put this grass back in March and bought it from a local nursery, planted it, leveled it all off, got it all laid out, and it filled in really, really well. No issues, and then needed something to basically get down to golf green level. That was the aim. So got this from a friend that owns a mower store, and there's a lot to choose from. This is a really heavy duty one. So this is the Masport Cleveland 18-inch model. So obviously cuts in an 18-inch path in one go. It's got 6 of these blades that spin around. Now I'm just spinning it in reverse here at the moment, but obviously when you're pushing, they spin around, cut the grass nice and easy. The specs on this go from 14 mil. So what it'll do is it can cut down to 14 mil and can go up, 30, 40 mil up as high as you want to cut, really. Obviously, it's all super heavy duty. It weighs, I think, around 18 kilos. So big, thick rubber wheels, all steel frame. It is very, very solid. The only thing cheap and chintzy about this, I guess, really, is the bag. It just sits on the top, and I'll spin you around and we'll have a look in a minute. Very simple operations. This thing, obviously, if you want to go wheel it around, you push it the other way, and then the blades won't spin and you can move it, or lay it back and you're ready to go. It's got a roller at the back. From a striping perspective, which some people get really, really excited about, I don't think it does a really good job. You can probably put heavier roller on it. It's just a plastic one on this, and I've seen people with them, but for me at the moment, I'm not really caring about the stripes. I'm happy just a nice, clean, even cut. Now, as I mentioned, I wanted to get this down as low as I could. The aim was to get a putting green going in. So you need to get down to 3-4 mil for a putting green. Obviously, because this is not a petrol one, and the cost differences are significant between a petrol one, probably around $2,000, versus one of these, which is a couple of $100 normally. I tried to modify this, so the cutting plate at the bottom, that's got a big bulge in it that allows it to sit 14 mil off the ground at its lowest height. I've ground that down a lot off there, so it's down to about 7 mil if you put a tape measure on it. But what I've found is you just can't generate enough power pushing it across the grass that low, and it rips and tears the grass, and it's a little bit awkward. So trying to get it down to even 3 mil would be, you need petrol power to be able to spin it that fast, because at the moment the gears in the tires is what control how fast this thing spins when you're pushing it along. So all right, let's have a look at the back half and we'll go from there. All right, so we're at the back half now. So as I said earlier, really this thing is heavy duty, built to last. There's nothing cheap about it except for this little grass catcher, you could say. Just made out of regular like fly wire material and a plastic sheet. And it just is a matter of clipping on, just resting on some brackets or some clips. Just tilt that back, and then you can lift that up and take that away. These things, they can bend in or out depending on how rough you are on it. But as I mentioned, it's got the plastic roller here. You'll also see on the side, you can undo these, and that will also lift the mower up or down depending on the height of cut that you want. So to be able to control I guess how sharp it is, and like if you need to sharpen it up and then align it all, you use these. You stick it on a spanner on, you can twist these around, and this thing will cut paper like that. In fact, I'll probably show you a bit later on. Really straightforward to use. Now, if you do need to adjust the height of cut from a wheel perspective as well, so this will allow it to go up and down a little bit with the wheels, and this will move it as well. It's just a matter of pulling that lever in, undoing 2 thread or nylock nuts, and then there's punched holes that you can clip it into to move it up or down as depending on how high you want to cut your grass. Really easy, really simple, straightforward to use. As you can see there, she spins around, no problems at all. And then obviously you don't want to be pushing this around with the blade spinning when you're moving around in your yard. And it's just a matter of pushing that forward, you tilt that, and you can roll it along like normal. Nothing happens, the blades don't spin, no issue. All right, now let's have a look at how long the grass is. Right now, I haven't mowed it for a good couple of weeks. You can see here, it's looking not too bad. I haven't watered it except for last night, and I hadn't watered it for about 2 weeks, so it is a little bit lighter than it normally is. But this lawn has been set and forget since I put on some PGR and the broadleaf weed killer. I put that on probably 4 months ago, and it has just been absolutely flawless. So you can see lots of these little heads popping up and so on. Let's get in really close. All right, so looking at that, it is over 2 centimeters, and we'll go through and cut some, and we'll see what it comes up and ends up like. All right, now, because I've got this set pretty low, you do have to put a fair bit of effort into when you're pushing it around. Obviously, if you've got it up a bit higher and it's not taking as much grass per cut, pretty straightforward, and you don't really need that much effort. So I think my kids can use it if need be. But anyway, let's get stuck in and we'll have a look and see how well it goes. Alright, that is done. Like I said, this little bit of meterage, 12 meters by nearly 3, it's about 30 square meters. Takes no time at all to cut. Now you can probably see there's a pattern. From the blades, you go both ways, the pattern will spin around and cut out of it, depending on how tight a fit you want to get, I guess, and what you want your lawn to look like. Now, let's have a look at the grass. Alright. So that's everything that it's cut off. Now, you can see it's super neat, super cut, crisp. It's not ripped or torn, which is exactly what you want. And then hopefully you can see you get the little bobbles. That's just because I'm cutting it very low. If you didn't want that, you can raise it up a bit, but it doesn't really bother me. You can see how thick the TifTuf is and it's settled in. And obviously we're down in here in Melbourne. We've had a hot summer and I haven't been putting much water on. And look at how green it is. It's pretty amazing what sort of lawn it's like, I tell you what. And then you just undo that, take it away, throw it off. So, all right, let's have a check and see how deep it is now. All right, got the mighty tape measure out. So you can see it is taken probably a centimetre off the top of that. Yeah, we're down near on 10 mil, I suppose. Yeah, what can I say? Get one of these bad boys. Would I be using this across my entire yard if I had 400 square metres? If I didn't want to worry about lines, or anything along those lines, 100%. If I wanted stripes or if I want to go for a putting green, that's going to be stage 2. You know, that's what I've promised the kids. So we will get to them. Now, one of the things to be aware of with these sorts of mowers, you can see along the edge here, because you can only cut the width of the blades, which is 18 inches, you've got all this room between the blades, so good probably 3 or 4 inches. That's what get left. You've got to clean this up with whippersnippers or your proper trimmers, and it's a little bit annoying, but what can you do, right? Everybody has the same. If you've got an edge, you either can put down a concrete edge, so there's your lip, or a nice flat concrete bit, or you just trim it up. Not too sure, but either way, lawn is looking schmeck. So yeah, I guess a little bit more on the lawn. Like I said, planted it in March. It settled in, gave it heaps of water. Obviously that was middle of winter for us by the time it settled in, and it has been smooth sailing with this thing. I give it some of the granular fertilizer probably every 3 months, just the small stuff from Bunnings. I think it's just the Cooch Builder. Throw it around, a little bit of water, but like I said, I haven't put any water on this lawn for probably 2.5 to 3 weeks, and it is still ridiculously green. If you go and look at any other lawn around where we live here, it's just dead and barren. And only put a touch on last night, and it just really looks $1 million. So yeah, we get the edges trimmed up, a few little bushes, maybe some artwork down the side. But back to the mower, this is what the video is about. Easy, straightforward, nothing really to go wrong, no petrol, a little bit of noise, but durable. So if you're in the market, you've got a small yard and you want your grass to be looking really neat and tidy, but you don't want to have to buy a big expensive mower or smelly, whatever you like, this is what it looks like. It can look like if you look after it, feed it, and go from there. Alright, that is it guys. Thanks again for watching, and if any questions, drop me a comment and I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.